Waiting for my girlfriend. There she is. Hi, Luce.
Hey,
Hi,
wait.
Luce. Hi,
You
baby.
look beautiful.
You girlfriend.
How are you?
When you just
Fun.
thought of that, what is it? ATMS, ASMR.
Oh,
You know about A?
ASMR, isn't that the noise?
Yes.
The
And
the
women
tapping.
do stuff with tapping of their fingers, and it's supposed to soothe you and calm you.
We should just do that the whole talk
Well,
today.
they tap on the microphone. It's actually some of it. If the microphone is big enough, it's kind of phallic. My sister told me about it. I'm like, why are
You
you?
mean like this one?
Yes.
Sorry, I had you
Okay,
open that door. But
Lucy, I miss you.
I miss
I
you.
miss you. And you're like bicontinental and I'm tri-coastal. So it's a rare event that we're in LA together and we're not now, but I've been following all your endeavors for years. And we're not acquaintances, we're gal pals, right?
Like deeply, even if I don't see you a lot, we've made it work in other countries.
Right. And
You know,
when you
like
come, it's intense. It's intensely quality.
it is
Dinner,
intensely quality. Yeah,
wine on the deck, laughing till very
crying.
right.
Like it gets open, we get there.
Right. So I just want to say to everybody, I met Lucy as a artist, songwriter 20 years ago.
Two,
And
I think 2000,
since then,
2000.
I've met thousands of other wannabe Lucys. But, you know, artists come and go. They don't, a lot of them don't last. Respectfully, it's hard. But you, like, you don't stop. You are music. I feel like I make music. Um, but maybe it's because I don't know. You're like, did you know Greg Sutton? Because
I don't know him personally.
he just passed away, and I always
Um,
thought of him as he is he is music, and you are music. I just, you're like the ever ready battery. You're always creating, you're always releasing, you're never losing yourself, although you've changed, I think, throughout the 2 decades I've known you. So
sure.
what's going on?
Well, it's funny. It's just the perfect day to talk to you about this because it's a Monday and you wake up and you're like, why do I do music? We all have these days. What am I doing? Um, what is my purpose? Do I have a voice? What do I, and I'm not even sort of in a writing mode now. I'm just in like I'm here, or like releasing music. And so you have these days and sometimes it's hours and sometimes it's a 5 minute, like, what's my, so um
Like imposter syndrome?
like imposter syndrome. But like
You
you
have,
you you get on stage and then you're like, okay, I'm me again.
right.
Like that's how I am. That's how I know that you feel it in your body. It's physical, it's shimmering, it's the whole thing. Like
Posting.
that's yeah, it's a real physical thing. And
It's a vibration,
um
right?
it's
Okay,
total
I'm
vibration.
talking. I asked you a question. Now
No, no,
let
no, I love it. No, 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 because I love all these colorful words. It's total vibration. And then when you're on stage making music live with other people, it's the same thing that you feel like when you're working on, you always call it like songwriting sex. You're just like connected and that's it. So these days come and go when you're putting out music and you've been doing it for so long and the world has changed. I'm not like a new artist, but I've shifted directions and I've had major record deals and minor record deals and indie record deals and this record, and you've seen every shape of it. And sometimes I'm like, how am I still here and surviving and doing what I love to do? Well, damn it, it's super hard, like the business side of it. So any new artist, anyone who's not a new artist, we all are going through this. So it is the Energizer bunny. I do feel like that sometimes because I'm like certainly like built like that, like my mother and my grandmother is. But it is sometimes that deep. I mean, COVID, not to go into COVID stuff, but it all taught us that of like how to sit still and like, what am I doing and who the heck am I, and new thoughts and new ideas and come
Right.
out of that as well.
Right.
Not just song ideas, but about who you are.
Right.
So
See, I always think of you as a new artist as far as like fresh, because you don't repeat yourself.
no,
You're
I don't.
always finding like new pockets of Lucy, right?
Mhm.
And you're so real. So
Thanks. That's a cool way to look at it.
it's
I never
true.
thought about that. Yeah.
We got together for the first time when you first moved to Los Angeles, and we wrote a song called This Is Hollywood. This is Hollywood. But Lucy, I heard you sing. Everybody, you got to check out. We'll put links because you got to hear Lucy sing. Your voice is just, I hate you when you sing. I hate you a little bit because I will never sing like that. I will never sing like that, no matter how many lessons I take, no matter if I had even ever learned to sing correctly way back then, because you've got like apparatus. You've got the apparatus that and the soul. So, you've got the soul and the voice and the stuff inside that lets a voice come out like that. So we wrote that song, This Is Hollywood, and a couple of other
But I
songs.
feel that way about you as a writer, not to make it, because I know you're not like, make it about me. It's like, I feel that way about you. And I look at it like this. You can tap into an artist like Chrissy Hind or Brandy or Christina, and you know how to tap into the human emotion, not just stylistically. Yes, you got
Yeah.
that. But you can tap into that girl or that woman.
If grass is
And
greener, I would give that up for a day or a week just to see how it feels to sing like you do. It's like, to me, when I hear somebody singing like that, it's analogous with flying. When I see somebody ice skate, I'm like, that must be like flying.
that's what, yeah.
Something that excellent. So I appreciate you saying that about me, but nothing. And thank you. But I just hate you a little bit when you say. So
Wait, I was
you
going to say one more thing on that, just one quickly, because you said about being fresh and tapping into different sounds. It's like, we all are raised listening to records. Like I had my Michael Jackson was the only thing that my mother would let me listen to in the house because he sang with his falsetto when she was an opera singer. So there were a lot of strict rules in the house. And then there was Annie, and then there was this, and then there was eventually Bjork and Zeppelin and Madonna. And these are the people that I imitated. So if we're raised imitating and listening to different records, why wouldn't I, if I'm able to tap into those personalities and vocal assets or whatever, why wouldn't I? They are a part of me. And so that's why when you're on a label,
you have the instrument, you also have the apparatus. I'm convinced. I listen to like Christina. I'm like, okay, so she's got soul, but she also has like, she was born with these vocal cords and lungs that allow her to, if you have soul and it's a perfect storm, you can sing that way.
right.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
So you made that album, was it with Atlantic?
Yes.
And
But
then
I bet you before that, we wrote 3 songs before that record deal. I'm Fine.
I'm Fine.
They wrote Trouble with Me a year or two before, because
Right.
I was signed to Epic Sony and then got dropped from that. There was a big old thing. And then signed to Atlantic. But we had written a couple of songs that we dragged along to this new deal.
Right.
Then from that point, we wrote Is This Hollywood? And that was I hadn't quite moved to LA yet, but I was there and I was still riding my bike to your house and
I'm going to post a link to that because that was an amazing song. And, I think from those sessions, we became friends. Songwriting is so intimate and you really do get to know somebody and from those sessions, we've had this relationship that was in like around 2000 and this is 2023. So I take songwriting, or I did then, the sessions I had then, very seriously. And I have a lot of relationships from, I mean, not to say that you're not special, like the relationship songwriting sessions I had back then parlayed into some beautiful relationships that are still, come up to the canyon and have a glass of wine. I hope you can't hear that. It's the garbage.
Yeah.
People.
I just hear the sounds of your soul. Yeah.
Lucy, and then you had a big hit song that you wrote that you didn't record as an artist with Stacy
Rico.
So
Rico. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And tell us about that.
It was such an interesting time. Stacy, so I was working a lot with Kevin Kadish and Sibel Rear. And we had written a song called More to Life. And we'd written it for my record. And then I wrote another song with Jamie Houston called What's Good for Me. And they were like similar themes, but What's Good for Me was more like, I'm, 25 and I'm whatever I was, 24, and that's what I felt. I was an adult, and Stacy was 16. So when I had these two songs, I was like, they both don't belong on this record. It's very different themes, but Stacy can make this a hit and run with this. There's got to be more to life than wanting more. And I had What's Good for Me, which was like, I can really stand behind this. And so lots of talks with A&R people, and Matt Serletic was, I guess, Kevin's publisher at Virgin or something. And he said, we want this for Stacy because she's coming from the Christian pop world, but this is her crossover song. She's incredible. She wants to like flip over into the pop world. Can we have this song? And I was like, yeah, sure, take it. And I put it on my B-side in Japan. Like no one in America has heard it, only in Japan. So when I went to Japan touring with that record, people knew that song because they were both songs were out, her version and my version. So we had to change the title. Mine was called More to Life. Hers is called There's Gotta Be More to Life. Mm-hmm. And mine's really rocking and just more Lucy-ish. And then she covered it, and she very poppy. Very poppy. And she took out the bridge and reharmed some things and modulated, and I don't modulate. And, so she did this all the
modulate.
I don't do it anymore. I don't do
it. Used to be like the best thing. It's like,
I know. I was like,
there's more to the song.
Yeah, there's more. So couldn't do it. And so she did it. And then she's on MTV and she has a huge hit, and it's like top 5 or top 10, this and that. And and then to hear her doing, when I first heard her version of it, I was like, oh, that's my riff. Oh my God, she took my riff. Like it was such an honor to hear a real, because in my mind, I'm just like a pop rock singer. She was like a singer. And I was like, that's so cool. She took my riff. Like, so super honored. And I had all the feels. Yeah, it was just like, so then I was just like,
this was pre-digital. So that gave you some bank to pay the rent,
Yeah, it was like,
get into that. It's a whole different
world.
I want to talk about your earrings, because I can't, I can't wear, especially with masks over COVID, anything with hoops, I pull the mask off and the earrings. I don't even have any on today.
I'm a hoop.
That look, I can't do it. It's like
I think you can. No, I think anybody, but we're all clumsy, and I'm like,
what happens if you do that? You have a scarf on and you get a finger caught in your ear.
But how often are you going to be like, oops,
my arm is tired. I want to rest. Okay. So now I would say now, Lucy, because I listened to your new song the other day, and I listened to it before, but I wanted to get, closer to our talking. It's sort of like, now I feel like you're jazzy, bluesy, right? Would you say that?
Yes, we're gonna listen, I mean, I've always been jazzy bluesy, but I was on Verve in like 2010. It was like straight up
slow recovery.
It was
slow recovery.
Such a good. And I was inspired by Peggy Lee and Django Reinhardt, because I've always have been. So everything was like swing and up, and that was what my band was, and that was what the videos were, kind of throwbacky. And then but I've always had this blues thing in me. It just was sort of depending on where I was record deal wise, was it allowed, that kind of thing. So I got into just listening to a lot of Bill Withers in COVID, and a lot of flamenco music, and a lot of like not that this song sounds anything like flamenco, I wish it did, but just the openness of like a singer, like sing girl, just sing, like don't worry, and tell your story. And I had started that song, the song Frey, that came out a couple months ago. I started it in 2017 after a tour where I was unpacking my stuff and I smelled like my tour, and I was like not wanting to let go of that memory. And I was going through a lot in my life, but it was like one of those voice memos that you're like, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, that's so deep. I actually can't deal with that now. And I didn't pick it up for a few more years. So I finished it in 2021.
So
But
did
it's
you
just,
label it on your phone? Because I have like thousands of voice memos, and unless I label things, I'm like, oh, it
always.
makes me like
And
a
also, the worst thing is when you don't remember what you labeled it. So I write, like, say I write Frey and I'm like song idea. So all the titles have song idea
you
because I
gotta
don't,
call it, you gotta give it a name, even
yeah,
if it's temporary.
yeah.
And so, you're doing videos, you're very active, but not obnoxious on social media. I get a newsletter once in a while with a little ditty from you, and you're actually a wonderful writer. Aside from songs, you express yourself beautifully with word, and you stay in touch because you're traveling, you're on the move, right? You're in Europe, you're still touring actively. And whenever I hear Rod Stewart, I think, oh my God, how must it have been to tour with Rod Stewart and do backup? I mean,
I
perfect
mean, it
partnership.
was the perfect timing because I was, and you might know this, but it was, I was, one of the girls was having a baby, one of the backup singers. So my friend in the band called me and said, hey, do you want to just fill in for a little while? And then I ended up filling in for like 4.5 years. I mean, I took the job and it was a perfect time, like in between record deals. And like, you know what? I'm a little bit burnt from being an artist right now, like literally driving the bus. And I just need to like see the world and sing with an icon. And I had to really think about that if I wanted that job. Like I knew I would learn, I could finally make money and have a regular paycheck. But I needed to just like understand what the purpose of music was again. And I learned so much from him as a writer, certainly as a singer. We're still buds. I did a show in London
He's
2 months
a big
ago and
guy,
he
you
came.
said, right? Yes.
And
Well, I
he
was
came.
the one in the valley, and he was
Yeah,
singing.
that one a few years ago. But he came again, like in London, and he's just
Yeah,
like so proud. And afterwards,
yeah,
he's like, "I'm so glad that you're writing your songs and you're
yeah.
doing it."
Wow.
So he's super Uncle Rod, like
So
very
many
supportive.
bad dudes, he's such a great dude. And honestly, his songs, I heard Mandolin Rain the other day. I heard First Cut is the Deepest
Mm.
yesterday. And I thought, God, he was just always so consistent. I don't know how he kept up his vocal. He just,
He
I
had
would
a hard.
like sing for 2 days and get like a vocal hemorrhage. I don't know how he did that for so many years. But this isn't about Rob, but I just want to like back up like 5 minutes because you said Bill Withers. I want to hear you sing Ain't No Sunshine.
Oh my God!
And
Like
next
right now,
time you come up to the canyon for a
bring
bottle
it.
of wine, just a cappella. I don't care.
Yep.
I want to hear you sing Ain't No Sunshine. And
Deal.
so your new record, you release some singles, are you going to release a whole
Yeah.
album?
So I'm releasing like kind of a song a month and seeing how it feels again. I mean, the past before COVID, I was with my friend Charlie Hunter. We were doing a constant, like 180 dates a year kind of touring schedule. And it was only taking covers and making them like functifying them and like only covers, whether it's Terence Trent D'Arby or George Michael or Bessie Smith or an old jazz standard. And that's what we did. So then the world shuts us down and I had to go deep within and think about what I wanted to think about and write about what I wanted to write about. And that took a moment because I'd been living in another kind of planet. And I was like, well, then, okay, who am I again? So it's really, but once I opened that vault, I was like, whoa, I have shit to say. And it's different than it was before because I have so much more experience and no one is telling me what to write. And that was very different also. So I went way deeper with this stuff, lyrically, melodically. I was like, I'm not in a box, fuck them all. Like, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And so I work with my friend David Garza on a lot of songs. He's out in LA. Tim LaFave, Amy Wood. Like we had a wonderful, week in Sonic Ranch in Texas, recording this stuff. And so now it's just sort of like releasing a song a month and feeling
Yeah.
out how it goes. And I'll release an album in January,
Yeah,
February.
you got to hear her, people. She's really special. I don't do this talk with anybody who isn't. There's not enough time. But I think you could call an album Shit to Say. when you
Shit to
have a lot of
say.
shit to say. I
Exactly.
hear this stuff. Half of co-writing and being creative is just hearing what somebody else says, and
Else
it
is
just
saying,
went by so fast and they didn't even know. Shit to say.
writing it down. And you know what? That's for every tag hashtag that you do from now on. We will
Yeah.
both sit to see
I
what we're
have
doing.
shit to say. Okay, Lucy, can we talk about the internet terrorists? The
Oh
ones,
God.
can we talk about your Instagram thing when somebody did that thing with your
He's
do we
still
want to
home.
talk about that?
Oh,
Oh,
I'm fine with it. It's like I'm just waiting for the day that I can publicly talk about this. I don't know if this is interesting to anybody,
oh,
but if
it
it's to
is
you, that's how like,
because people's accounts are getting hacked. And
yeah, and
I
yours
had
got
this
terribly bad.
talk in my Facebook, not that everybody's using it, but I use it because I'm sorry. I am middle-aged plus, and I have a lot of middle-aged plus friends who don't use Instagram. They use Facebook, and I am on it, and I'm
Of
okay
course,
with it. But somebody
of course.
stole my account, and they
Yeah.
were posting all these crazy ass videos, and my friends were like, what's going on with you? And it was traumatic and horrible. And then you came over and we were talking about it, and you told me that somebody created an Instagram account linked to you and called it,
Lucy's nose.
and they just took pictures of Lucy and enhanced her nose
Wait,
what's
Pinocchio,
the famous
Cyrano, Pinocchio.
yes, and they extorted you or tried to extort you and tried
I
to.
just got another post yesterday. This has been going on, by the way, since 2018. This is like, it's super deep because I realize it's a he, and I think it's an English he because I can tell by the spelling or the just the usage of words like wanker. It got very like sexual, but I whatever, fuck,
Well, that doesn't
but
mean it has to be a man.
no, but there's
That
something in the way it's, but
keeps.
at the same time, it went to this place of threatening me with, if you don't send me a picture of you
Right.
touching your nose, then I tried blocking and I tried deleting and
Call the
reporting,
police.
and
Have the
then
FBI involved.
I actually talked to a PA and everything, a private investigator PI, I mean, and they said, I can give you the FBI place to upload because I save every screenshot of this troll. I have a Dropbox folder called troll, and I save every single one. And I'm like, the FBI process. I'm just basically being cyber trolled. There's no threat physically, even though one time they
Right.
said, it's not where you were last night, but I kind of didn't believe it. But then if I don't send a photo, or if I report or block, then they recreate Lucy's nose profile, and it's called Lucy's honker or something. And then my nose is even longer in the next one. This has been going on for 4 years.
And they're
Not to laugh.
but they it's so disturbing and so upsetting, right? I mean,
Laughing because it's so upsetting.
I got my account back. It wasn't cheap,
Yeah.
it wasn't cheap. And I found somebody who said they could do it, and they were able to do it. But that was my choice. But yeah, I mean, I think that you sort of have a sense of humor about it. This is happening to a lot of people, but it takes a certain zen to say, I just need to let this idiot do their thing. I'm not going to give them a cent. My true followers, as in your true followers, know that that's not me. And I mean, it's really hard. I think it causes us a lot of anxiety. The internet is just,
I mean, this summer he was
hard.
posting a lot on my wall. So every time that I would post anything that was kind of up close, like a rehearsal or something, then he would write on my wall and something obnoxious, like just mean and cruel, and and then I don't have notifications turned off because they drive me crazy. But when I would look at it 5 minutes later, he would I'd have to take it down immediately. And now I just go, you know what, this is your problem. Like, I'm not going to bother. But I did get very self-conscious about what he would say. And I really was like, I was starting to take a photo or do a post. And I was wondering, I think the troll is going to comment on this, like really. And then now I'm like, I can't even be bothered. I can't catch up with him. And
Yeah,
I don't want any more energy into it. So that's why I have a sense of humor
right.
about it. He'll grow out of it. Poor guy.
Yeah, he'll do Shelly's nails.
I'll send him on to you.
The money.
He needs somewhere to go.
So where are you now?
I'm in Rotterdam now. I go to Germany this weekend for a show there, and then
Yes.
Czech Republic next week for another show there, and then New York for 6 weeks to see mom, my
Oh,
new
when will you
nephew,
be in New York? I'll be in New York.
December 15th.
Oh, me too. Wait.
Oh, good. Like at least a few weeks, but then I'm also going to come to LA by the end of the month, at
Okay.
the end of
Okay.
January. So
I'm going for Christmas. And
okay,
don't
great.
anybody that's watching this think my house is going to be empty, because I'm going to have
Not.
guard dogs and lots of house sitters. But let's see, let's play. Let's do
Yeah,
something. Maybe it'll
we can.
snow.
We
And
can.
then I'll be back in LA. Where are you staying when you come?
I always stay at Amy's, or
Okay,
sometimes I stay
people
at
don't
your
need to
house.
know this, but you could spend a couple nights with me.
I love staying with you.
So,
We get to wake up and have coffee and talk.
and maybe we could even write a song, and you could sing me Ain't No Sunshine. But maybe we miss each other so much that when we get together, we just like drink wine and catch up. And
I know we
we
can drink
haven't
wine
done
and catch up
music
and write a
together in a
song.
long time. Okay, so we've got 2 minutes because I'm still on the 30-minute Zoom, unless it's my
Oh wow, yeah.
class, which
Yeah.
is hours, but that's on the college Zoom
I
platform.
understand.
So in this last minute, tell me how much you love it. No,
I love you so much.
what it takes for, young people out there that want to be you when they grow up and continue this journey, what it takes.
I did a masterclass the other day in Amsterdam, and I get asked the same question. What do how do I get through this when times are tough? And I'm just like, remember why you do it. The joy of singing, the joy of writing. It is hard. The business is hard. Do this because you love this. And there are going to be moments when you don't, but you'll just look for that joy. That's why you did it when you were 5 years old. It's why you did it when you were 10 years old. And the other thing I would say is, don't be afraid to ask for help. And that's something that I wish I had done a long time ago, even just like advice, thinking you can do it all, and, that sort of thing. So asking, just reaching out and asking questions and not being worried about what people think.
Why I think you lasted so long? You're authentic. You're not paying attention to the algorithm. You're doing what Lucy does.
Maybe I should be paying attention to the algorithm. I question myself all the time, but you're right.
I mean, we should all check it out, put it on the back burner, but when we create, and I mean, everybody's going to think maybe I should, and you've probably thought that before, but you don't. And I think it would have been it's like a car wreck. You could get lucky for a very short time if you listen to the algorithm, but are you going to be around in 20 years? I just don't think so. If you're a slave to it.
Right. I get it.
I love you, sister.
I love you. We'll try to make New York in December work. Yes. I'll definitely be there.
Yes. And I'll share stuff, and you guys have to hear Lucy sing. Yeah.
I love you so
hear
much.
Lucy sing and hear what shit she has to say.
Shit she has to say, hashtag. Love you.
Baby.
Thanks for having me.
See you next month. Bye.
Very soon. Bye.